Hello and welcome to Group Blog 5. This is Alex, Nathan and Michael from the group, and we're just going to be talking about our third and final filming day for the narrative section of the music video. Obviously we started by going to the same ruined house from the first filming session because we had a couple more shots to do there. Just of Nathan as the protagonist, just sort of searching around, trying to find something like, and we got like the jacket shot again with Michael. I think you were in the same position before with the jacket shot.
We adjusted it so I was in the right place.
Yeah.
Trees and stuff.
We also still had to be careful about safety and all that because the site was still absolutely screwed. But then, after we'd finished that, we were.
Before we leave, sorry, there was a bit of a continuity error with the house at one point, wasn't there? In terms of when we filmed the first time, all the windows were kind of open and there was kind of bricks about. But when we went back, bearing in mind this house I've never seen any work done in this house at all. And we go back for our third filming session, all the doors and windows have been boarded up.
You mean the one?
The actual house.
The actual house. Yeah. I think that won't be including the actual music video.
Oh no, but yeah.
We managed to, because obviously none of the shots we had were really about that house. We got all the shots we needed for that house, like when in the video. On Evans,
just to make sure that it didn't come up in the background at all. Which,
yeah, we had to be extra careful. Also, some of the doors actually on the completely ruined house.
Yeah.
Were gone. Like there was one that was flapping.
There
was one that was flapping in the background at one point in the original shots we got, and that is gone now. But luckily, we didn't need any shots that had that in it for this new filming session. So yeah, thanks for reminding about the continuity errors. But they should come up. And then we went on to do just before we left that area, we got the car in again to do just basically for one final sort of redo of the shot where we zoom in on the family photo, just because we thought it was a bit too not very recognisable in the original shot we got, so we wanted to get a better close-up of that, so you could clearly see there was a family photo of the guy, the protagonist, before the apocalypse began.
Like just editing, adding to that, in editing, that was where we sort of saw that when you watch it through, when you watch the part that has the protagonist going to the car and then going to the house, he doesn't really, it doesn't really hit you about the importance of the jumper, because you just see the picture, you don't really see the details in it, really. So that's why we went and got a more zoomed in shot, closer up on the people in the picture, so that it really just shoved the picture in the audience's face, so they actually would look at the people in it. And obviously, you'd notice that you were in it, and you'd notice that I was in it, and you'd notice the jumper. So we just made it more noticeable for the audience, which is quite important. And like the shot with Nathan's face in it when he's looking at the jumper was done from audience feedback, because in the first edit of the narrative bit, which we're going to talk about later, we saw that there wasn't as many close-ups as perhaps would be as effective as it makes the audience sort of feel closer to the protagonist, and it really helps characterise the protagonist more, and we hadn't got hardly any of those. And so a piece of audience feedback from Mr. Atkin that is also on our blogs told us that a few more close-ups would work, and we thought the perfect time to do that would be when you see the protagonist's grief when he sees the jumper, and we're going to overlay that over the shot in sort of like a superimposition, sort of just like a merge, so you really see like the chaos that's going on in his head and how important the shot is, pretty much. And then we went off to the next part.
which was the fields, went into the fields.
Yeah, the first fields.
Went into the fields, and it was still light out, so we did obviously the shots of the fields that were set in the day. So that would be at the very beginning of the narrative, where I'm just wandering, where the protagonist is just wandering through some fields, and at the end, where he's staggering through the fields and he falls over and screams up at the sky. When we were doing it originally, we had specifically one shot we had was where I was running in a zigzag, and when we placed it into the piece narrative and watched it, it just if you could put the Benny Hill theme over it, it would work perfectly. It just looks ridiculous. It didn't work very well. So we tried to come up with different ways to portray that in a more lunatic manner,
Serious.
a serious manner, and I believe it certainly looks better. Certainly looks much better than it did before.
I think the effects is a lot of it as well.
Yeah.
Post-production stuff we can do, once we've edited it all together, it's going to be really important.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of hard looking at it right now, because right now it doesn't look, it doesn't look brilliant, does it, compared to what we've done?
No.
It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look brilliant. But when we do the editing, you can really see the section just become a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, we redid a few shots, like a couple of the tracking shots that were just a bit too shaky the first time round, and we improvised some shots on the spot as well. I can't think of it at the minute, but we did a variety of different types, because we wanted really to get as many different types of shots in as possible. So you got like worm eye, bird's eye, side on, mid shot, long shot, etc. We wanted to get as many different in as possible, and then just kind of trial and error which ones would work in the narrative itself, and with the beat of the music, of course, you have to match it. But with the amount that we did get in the field, I should think there's plenty to experiment with at both the beginning and the end of the music video.
We've still got to decide whether the shots we did, because we did a lot of shots, as Nathan said, about like you walking in fields and your face as you're walking across, and like the setting and the sunset, and I've still got to decide what we're going to do in terms of like where we're going to put the shots.
Yeah.
No,
Because whether we're going to go a montage with the protagonist, as the first part of the narrative is in the refuge.
Yeah.
So just a preliminary idea is, for example, having a montage where you go from the first shots in the morning of him walking across the field, and then it goes through the day, and then maybe the one we've got with you walking to the sunset can be after, and then the nights after, so it's sort of like a time progression.
Yeah.
And just showing the emptiness and desolation of your day.
Yeah.
And that's just an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then we went to the refuge afterwards, and basically the shots we did before weren't very good in terms of lighting.
Mm.
yeah. You got proper.
Yes, so we've got a lot better lighting on the shots, even though they're still not perfect. But that's just the difficulties of filming at night, pretty much,
Yeah.
because you can't have the shot of him walking up to the refuge where it looks like it's 5 o'clock at night, and then one's in the refuge where it looks like it's 12, because it just doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't work, because it's a progression of him walking into it and then getting sat down.
And also without proper light, it would just be invisible.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's about as good as we were going to get it. You know,
Yeah.
we got some vaguely dim lights set up around the place, just so it was still visible, but you could see it was definitely night time at this point.
Yeah.
And we did get a shot on the way to the field box.
Oh, we
as well,
got
didn't
we got multiple
with
with,
the
you know,
sun setting and all that.
you know,
it's
I'll-
the, I was talking about the montage we could do.
Oh, the one, yeah.
in
yeah.
between, you know, I don't know if we made this clear, but basically in between the field shots and the refuge shots, we drifted, you know, along the road, just seeing, what locations we could, because it was a long way in between where we were filming the field shots and where we were filming the refuge shots, and there were a lot of good locations in between where we thought, this would look great if we could get a shot from here. So we just occasionally we'd dropped a lot of stuff off, set up. We got a couple of shots of Nathan, just walking walking along or maybe falling over or something, you know, just difficulties. And I remember at one point we looked up and the clouds in the sky were actually moving really fast, and we thought, all right, there's an opportunity. So we set up the camera with the tripod and pointed it like up towards the sky, and basically just stood there and filmed for about just had a still camera on this really fast moving sky for about 2 minutes, I would say, like a really long shot, just non-stop of this sky, and basically that, you know, we thought that if at some point we could employ that into like speed it up, so we could basically use that in a transition, and then obviously we went on to the refuge, where we got a bunch of good shots in that. Like we said, you know, the lighting was a lot better this time. You know, we got some phones and put them around for some dim lighting so we could actually, you know, see. And while we were in the refuge, we got, you know, obviously a lot of shots of him rearranging boards to get the bedding, you know, just get it all sorted, and then lie down and sleep. And I think for that we got like a moving backward shot. I don't know, out of the refuge. It's basically Michael held the camera and walked slowly backwards out of the refuge, just to show like where he was, and now it was night and now he was going to sleep. And after that, we got him back up, and we had the matches with us. We talked about it in the shot list. We were going to get a shot where basically the protagonist would light a match, and it would be burning, and then the camera would pan up, and as the match got to the bottom of the frame, it would burn out, leaving just this trail of smoke for the camera to follow. And you know, that a couple of times we couldn't get the match lit, or the wind blew out or something, but eventually, after we had to crop it from the sides, but eventually we got a good one where we basically used 3 matches, because it was getting really tough. But we used 3 matches and had them light together, and then follow the smoke trail from that and get them to the bottom and follow the smoke trail from that, and it looked really good in the final thing. And after we'd done that, we got onto the beans. And basically, once we could convince Nathan to eat them, we didn't like them, we basically got some really good shots of, because Nathan got into it obviously, and got some really good shots of like the protagonist. He rips off the lid, you know, he doesn't care, and then he like grabs the beans and is like throwing them and getting them all down his chin and scooping them out with his hands and eating them, and it looked really good in the end. And basically, so we got some really great shots now that we can finally see him. That was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, that was I think that was the end of the day. That was after we got the bean shots, and
Just lighting.
what before we got the.
But as in the first time compared to.
Well, yes, because obviously the first time we went to the refuge, we couldn't get any shots because the lighting was just awful. Like, you couldn't see anything at all. And so we, you know, this time, like I said before, we set up sort of our phones with the UV lights around the place to get a sort of dim night light sort of look, so you could actually see that it was night, and you know, you could see what was happening.
And that was more or less it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. That was Group Vlog 5, where we talked about the filming sessions, and we will see you in the next vlog. Bye.